to another episode of the State of E-commerce. This week we have Tim McDonnell joining Ben and I from Deliverr. Tim, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. How you guys doing?
We're doing all right. Ben,
Doing
how are
great.
you?
Doing good. Excited to talk to you today, Tim, and learn a little bit about Deliverr.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys having me on here. It's always great to talk to the Payoneer team.
Absolutely. So, we've been working with Deliverr for about 2 to 3 years now. Tim, a little bit more recently. Tim's been at Deliverr for about a year and a half, but has a decade of experience selling SaaS and technology platforms at Deliverr. He now works with a team of reps to help them train them on the Deliverr fast tags, which we're going to talk about on D2C websites and social selling platforms. And now he's working on building out their channels and partnerships teams to further grow the ecosystem that we have at Payoneer, and bring in these other players that really contribute to the success of selling online. So let's not waste any time. I know we have a lot of things to talk about. So Ben, why don't we just jump right in?
Yeah, thanks, TJ. Tim, just as TJ mentioned, can you give us kind of an overview of where Deliverr started, some of the initiatives you and the team are working on for 2021, and maybe start to dive into a little of the social selling concept?
Yeah, for sure. So like really high level, like how would I describe Deliverr in just a few couple words would be like, we're a direct to consumer fulfillment service. That's what we do. But what makes us different or unique would have to be with the speed at which we can fulfill. So we can fulfill in 2 days or less. And online and e-commerce, that's a conversion tool. If you can not only offer fast delivery, but promote it, you're going to get more revenue at a better margin. And so that's really why Deliverr exists. And the way that we do it is we have a network of over 50 warehouses. So we disperse inventory and we fulfill from the closest one. So like, where did Deliverr start though? I mean, ultimately it started from the idea of what Amazon essentially proved out, where they didn't offer the cheapest or lowest cost fulfillment service that they had. They spent a lot of money in building up a network so that they could offer faster delivery, because they knew if they could do that, they would be able to get conversion and orders at such a high level on their marketplace. And they'd actually be able to do it at a lower cost. And so we're taking that idea and just applying it elsewhere. And where it started is, I would say, with their number one competitor within marketplaces, Walmart. It's kind of funny because when I joined the company, I would almost say that we were, at times I'd say we're the FBA of Walmart. And that's definitely not the case anymore. We've expanded much beyond that. But it was ultimately going and reaching out to Amazon merchants and saying, hey, you're doing very well on Amazon. You have great products. But the thing is that there's people who sell on or buy on Amazon, and there's people who buy on Walmart. Now, people who buy anywhere online want fast delivery. So if you take that same concept that's going on Amazon and you take Prime Delivery and you put it in front of the Walmart audience, you should be able to reproduce the same level of conversion on that marketplace as well. And you are able to, and that's what our fast tags have been able to prove out. So where Deliverr started, it was literally just finding Amazon merchants and figuring out a way to offer Prime Delivery on Walmart. Then from there, we kind of took that idea, and there's a lot of different ways you can apply it. One of the projects that I've been working on specifically is a little bit more in the weeds in terms of marketing and how fast tags can actually help you get more orders. We have the technology to be able to locate or place where is a consumer when they're looking at your website or when they're trying to purchase. Depending on where they're located, how quickly can we fulfill to them? And we're able to essentially locate them and then promote accordingly. So our merchants are able to actually run Facebook and Instagram and Google campaigns that know where the person is and targets them with messaging that says free next day delivery or free 2-day delivery. So moving forward, that's taking that same concept that Amazon applied, that we had then applied to Walmart, and now we're churning and applying it to actually e-commerce marketing strategies. So like you said with social commerce, I think that's really where it's all kind of coming to a head. What places like Facebook and Instagram have is the most traffic. Mm-hmm. Everybody goes there, but they're not necessarily going there to buy anything. So one of the things that these marketplaces or these channels need is to be able to convert people. And again, in walks Deliverr, and in partnerships with Facebook, Instagram, and being able to tag ads. Once these social commerce platforms learn how to take their audience and actually get them into like a buying mode and getting them to purchase, I think a lot of that's going to be around promoting speed of delivery, showing people that when you look in the products you see on social commerce platforms can be fulfilled just as quickly with Amazon. Well, then those are going to become the real marketplaces of the future. And that's where I think, Deliverr's well positioned to help merchants who want to continue to expand and find new places, specifically social platforms to sell online.
So Tim, you mentioned a couple of them and a couple of the marketplaces. Do you want to just run through the platforms and marketplaces that Deliverr supports currently?
Yeah, for sure. And so if you inbound on any one particular marketplace, let's say that you are a Walmart seller and you inbound to Deliverr on your Walmart catalog, we have several other channels that you can just simply pivot to. So in terms of like direct integrations, we have Walmart, eBay, Wish. You can do Amazon, but it's FBM, just to kind of be clear there, not SFP. And then also direct consumer sites like BigCommerce, Shopify, as well as Google Shopping. In the not so distant future, I believe we are going to be adding a few more channels, specifically like those social commerce that I had mentioned, still in the works. But those are like the main channels. We also have about 13 listing tools. So often it's like, well, there might be channels we can't necessarily integrate directly with, but if that order can find its way from that channel to Deliverr, we can fulfill the order. So to that end, there's channels like Target, Wayfair, Overstock,
Right.
several other channels that our merchants do sell on and use Deliverr to fulfill. They have to do it through a middleware.
And I think one of the important things to talk about with Deliverr is, what we talked about before is the keyword here is the infrastructure that Deliverr has built to be able to support all these sellers. You want to explain a little bit about your term infrastructure as a service?
Yeah, for sure. I love this term and I hope everyone starts using it. And so that's really how I would describe like the offering that Deliverr has is we have built literally a network of warehouses or an infrastructure or a fulfillment network that requires no contracts. It's essentially open to the public. And we have two costs. It is fulfillment and storage. You can know these prices up front. So it's essentially saying like, here are the terms, here are the costs. You'll know everything beforehand and you can inbound and utilize our network. Our algorithm will tell you where you need to place these products in order to offer fast delivery. And so it's kind of all taken care of for you. If you want to offer 2-day delivery, the answer is pretty simple. Use Deliverr and you don't need to make a long-term commitment or anything. I think you will eventually, but it's like test it out, prove the value, utilize all these warehouses you otherwise wouldn't be able to get into. That's really what we're offering. And
you touched on something there that I think is really worth exploring, which is fast delivery and 2-day delivery. Right, we're living in society now where marketplace apps are on your phone. Someone thinks of something, they maybe go to the Amazon app or the Walmart app, whatever it may be. Boom, they purchase it on their phone. I know as a consumer, I'm just looking for the thing that will get delivered to me quickest. There's a delicate balance between price and speed, but I think at least for me, speed is winning out. So can you touch on a little bit about like the localization strategy that Deliverr utilizes and how customers are responding to that?
Yeah, for sure. And so like really high level, like how we do it is you need to get products in at least 4 different regions in order to offer national 2-day coverage. So really high level, that's where we open it up and that's how we disperse your inventories. We're going to get you to multiple locations. Let's imagine a merchant's working with us, they inbound. Chances are it's going to be like New Jersey or Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, middle of the country like Illinois or Northern Texas, and then West Coast like Las Vegas or something. So essentially the way that it works is like I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. If I place an order, I would bet my bottom dollar that product is coming from no further than Atlanta, Georgia. And so that's really how we do it. That's how we have fast speeds and low costs is because products maybe travel a state line. And that's advantageous, A, for the reasons I mentioned in terms of fast and lower costs, but also it can kind of help build up a network that's less susceptible to issues or carrier delays. there's a big difference between having to ship a product 1,000 miles and having to ship a product 75 miles. And really that's like what we're offering. Beyond that, like we're also a technology company. We can see where people are searching from to a degree, not everything, but it enables us to sort of geolocate what is their zip code. And depending on that zip code, it will update and it'll display speed of delivery. If we're able to offer next day delivery through like a Shopify store, we'll do it at the same price as 2-day. That's just an added benefit to the merchant. And really what that means is that consumer was probably like really, really close to the warehouse. And so it doesn't take us anything extra to get it there. And so is that kind of like what you're trying to look to understand in terms of like how we locate people or sort of like where we're fulfilling from to be like as close as possible?
Yeah, of course. No, I think that, and thanks for the answer. I think it was perfect. I really see the trend going is, digital commerce is going to take over, right? E-commerce is going to take over. People are going to be less likely to go to the store. Maybe if you are doing a project at your home or, you need to purchase things for gifts or holidays, you would have to go to 3, 4, 5 stores. You could purchase that stuff. Maybe you don't find things, you have to shop around. But now with the convenience of Amazon or a marketplace, right? You can sit at your desk in North Carolina, you can purchase your 4 or 5 different items and know that they're all going to come to you relatively quickly. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts too, if big brands are adopting that strategy to, be more hyper localized to their customers or, some of the trends you're seeing.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely seeing that. I would say, I think what a lot of big brands, they're realizing a few things. One of them is that like downtown retail space or retail stores that they have in expensive areas are becoming really expensive warehouses. Ultimately, it's sometimes they're fulfilling from there, but that's really expensive space, or people just aren't living in downtown centers as much as they used to. And so they're not getting the same foot traffic that they were. And so what we're seeing obviously is this big trend to moving to, just fulfillment and buying products online. So I think big brands are realizing a few things. One, there's an opportunity for them to continue to generate revenue. They're all shifting to do more online sales, and they're finding that there's an opportunity to maybe, give up some of that space that's in really expensive areas downtown and instead store their products outside of cities where they can fulfill quickly. But to be able to do that, there's going to be a big investment. They're going to have to buy warehouses. They're going to have to train staff. They're going to have to go through 1,000,001 things to get there. So if they wanted to carry it all on their own, maybe they could do it. But by the time they have it done, they'd be behind the trend. Amazon started doing this over 10 years ago. And so these brands that are shifting, they're getting more sales, more orders online. But if they're really going to keep their business running at the level it was, they need to adopt the fast delivery model. And so a lot of these brands are looking for opportunities. I think they're seeing it's really difficult and a big investment to offer fast delivery or build a network. And then in walks Deliverr. We're already that network for kind of the reasons described earlier, where you don't need to make a big commitment, but it allows you to kind of overnight say, we already have a warehouse here. Maybe we shift the purpose. Maybe we make it wholesale, storage, B2B, those types of your business, and then take the rest of the product and move it into a network and get it close to consumers before they buy it. Yeah,
I'm really curious to see how that one evolves, because I agree with you. The cost of owning a physical retail location is gonna be far less than partnering with Deliverr, not having to take on the burden of that cost and really diversifying your business to connect with those customers.
When it's like the last time you were shopping, how many people did you see that were like, there's many different services out there where they're all like, they're shopping for you, they're going and you put it in, they go into the stores, they find all the products and they buy it for you. That's really the element where I think like when we see it, we're like, oh, great. Like the company is building and they're finding new opportunities to fulfill. If I was one of those brands, I'd be saying, oh man, we're using our downtown space as a warehouse. This is crushing us, And I think we're seeing it all over the place. And it just essentially like, where do you want to allocate resources or be spending the most money, And I think that's an opportunity for them to save for sure. Yeah.
I think what that really means is, truly following the consumer trends, right? So what does the consumer want and how are they going to get there? And you mentioned before starting at the finish line. And I think that's a really good phrase or analogy or however we want to call it, because ultimately the consumer are the ones that are driving your sales, your business, driving the marketplace and how the marketplace affects the brands and the sellers. So, whatever you do have as a business, you always have to have the end consumer, or in this case, what we said, the finish line, probably in the front of your head rather than the back of your mind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely like, hey, we need to get this product to this consumer that is at this location. Do we want to start all the way back from where we're shipping from, like from the manufacturer, from our main warehouse, our single location, or do we want to ship from the exact same state that person just purchased it in? And I think that's ultimately how e-commerce is changing. Is you need to have your product distributed, you need to have it within close reach, or you're not going to be fast enough and it's going to be too expensive and crush your margins. So it's going to be an absolute need for e-commerce brands to succeed, is they have to have product already close to a consumer. Otherwise, like you had said, they're starting the race way behind.
And talking a little bit more about, thinking ahead and how sellers can get ahead and brands can get ahead here. Can you tell us what you're seeing from Deliverr customers who have diversified their multi-channel strategy and entered, new marketplaces, or which marketplaces are they're finding a lot of success on?
Yeah, I would say in general, what people who work with Deliverr, who have moved over most or all of their catalog, and they use fast tags across all channels, are seeing 10 times growth, particularly over the last year. And so I think there's kind of like two different ways to win with a service like Deliverr, with the idea that no matter what, faster delivery means higher revenue, more orders at a better margin. That's just what it means anywhere you sell. And so, I think that, ultimately in terms of marketplaces, like I definitely think social selling has become more and more of a thing. All they're waiting for there is to figure out that conversion piece. They already have the traffic. If they can figure out how to convert people into buyers, that's going to be a huge, huge marketplace moving forward in the future, particularly for like lifestyle type products. In terms of like other channels, I mean, I think there's an opportunity to win on all of them. If I was a merchant, I would be selling on all of them, and I'd be going back and analyzing, what was the opportunity really here? What were my margins here? And I'd be doubling down on that. So I guess instead of picking one in particular, I would say merchants who did that strategy where they expanded to multiple new marketplaces, they always won. They always saw Deliverr's value, and they always continue to get more revenue, just because like it's just strength in numbers, pure and simple,
Yeah.
Well, I think what we see there is, the ability to list on, your own website, 4, 5, 6 different marketplaces, whatever it may be, without having to have enough inventory stored at each, fulfillment center for each specific place. So obviously, when you're listing on more marketplace and you get more eyeballs on your product, the opportunity to convert is higher. Then we add in the added value of, what we talked about, the deliver tags, and whether it's 2-day or next day, and that just amplifies that even more. And then what it is it really mitigates the risk for you as a business, because your inventory is sitting in, with Deliverr, not necessarily in one centralized location, but regionally, so that you can fulfill those orders, get the conversion, fulfill the order, have happy customers and repeat the cycle, right? So kind of the flexibility to expand without an enormous amount of risk.
Exactly. And it's like, never leave any product ever stranded. If you have bought inventory, you should be working on selling it like at all times, everywhere you possibly can. That's exactly it. It's like, so it's perfect.
Yeah. And, I think to that point, right, as sellers are working on their business, they're working in their business, they're trying to grow it, whether they are a small brand looking to get a little bit bigger, or even a big brand looking to continue to diversify or connect. I think the biggest thing that they really have to build is that consumer trust, is to make sure that, brand loyalties have shifted and consumer loyalties have shifted. I think from brands themselves to the marketplaces they trust, and consumers are more willing to try new products, to experiment within categories, to see a new compelling deal and try that out. And it's really going to be key here that, the merchants who are working with these marketplaces can deliver those products quickly and efficiently with minimal hiccups.
Yeah. I even think about my own experience, there's many things a brand can do to like win my attention, having good placement in many marketplaces and being recognizable, their products, et cetera, et cetera. But ultimately what most merchants I think want is long-term clients. And if someone's going to win me over long-term, I'll tell you, there's two things that need to be good, in my opinion. First one is shipping, getting me the product after I buy it. I'm going to be happy if I get it quickly. If I have to wait a really long time, if that thought pops in my head, like I ordered this, where is it? The brand's already losing credibility with me. They're already making me not really enjoy the experience as much. The next thing is if I want to do a return, it better be an easy return, because if it's not easy return, I'll be cursing your name. And so I'd say really what that tells me is that, brands can do many things. They can execute with absolute precision and perfection across all marketing, et cetera. But the literal physical movement of the product and that experience of getting it into your consumer's hand or getting a return or exchange or whatever it is, sort of like that actual physical relationship is going to be absolutely paramount. It's going to be key for brands moving forward if they're going to continue to scale and grow and retain clients, for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think emphasis, exactly as you said, focusing on the end consumer experience, making sure that it's seamless and easy, both to purchase and return, and to utilize and to buy from that brand is going to be the biggest thing going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I recently had a bad returns experience, so that's why I'm thinking about it.
You seem very passionate about it, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Tim, with that, we want to say thanks so much for joining us here in the State of E-commerce. Really enjoyed talking to you about how brands can utilize Deliverr and how they can really expand their footprint and connect with customers. So with that, as we always do, we'd love to turn it back over to you for the final word.
Yeah, for sure. Final word, just in terms of
or you want. You can tell us about your bad return experience if you want it. Or you can just tell us about Deliverr, maybe how people can get in touch with you, some wise words. It's up to you.
Yeah, for sure. So what I would kind of say in summary is that it's not that I don't necessarily even just believe, or I don't just have a conviction that people need to get their products quickly in e-commerce, or they're just simply, there's a high chance they're not going to buy it, or they're not going to buy it from you. I would say that's really the most key thing for any brand going into this year is make sure that one way or another, Deliverr or otherwise, your consumers need to have an opportunity to get that product very quickly, or you could forever lose that person. And so I'd say that's the number one piece of advice that I'd give to any e-com brands out there. Other than that, just really appreciate your guys' time. I think you're great. You're excellent. You help these brands get up and lifted and get the, kind of runway they need in order to really get moving, their business up and going. So, yeah.
Of course. And, we talked about in the beginning, the infrastructure as a service. I think Deliverr actually does an incredible job at making e-commerce easier for brands to sell multi-channel, right? And I touched on it before, but having potentially to have infrastructure on your own, with your own warehouses, with your own, 3PLs for different marketplaces, whatever it is, incredibly complicated. And what Deliverr's done here is make it very simple for brands to sell nationally across the country, increase conversion, have that infrastructure set up, leverage the experts. It's what we talk about here often. This is not meant to be something that businesses can just do on their own. There's reasons why there's companies that exist to facilitate different parts of the path. So, Tim, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do so?
Yeah, best way to get in touch with me is typically via email. So email address would be tmcdonnell@Deliverr. That's 2Rs.com. Otherwise, if anyone wants to go to the Deliverr website, again, there's 2Rs, Deliverr with 2Rs. Just go to the website. If you sell on Amazon, you can grab your ASIN, put it in our cost calculator, and we'll show you what the rates are even before you talk to somebody. But we have our chat function. There's actually people right behind there. So if you reach out via the website, you'll get a response really quickly, and just ask for Tim McDonnell. I'll be there.
All right, Tim, for Ben and myself, thank you again. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.